In this problem here, you're told that you're given that y is directly proportional to x and that y equals 20 when x equals 12, and you're asked these three things: to write a formula that describes this directly proportional relationship, and then to find y when x is 9, and then x when y is 35. Well, if you have a directly proportional relationship, you're going to be able to write the equation as y equals m times x. Now, different textbooks have used other things because m is usually associated with slope. And it's not to be confused with the fact that, I mean, even though these tend to be linear functions, they're linear functions that do pass through the origin. So they're not going to have a y-intercept. It's going to be that basically y, one variable is going to equal some constant times the other variable. So they're a special type of linear function. In this kind of situation, this is often referred to as a constant of proportionality, and some textbooks will even use a different letter to designate it. I've seen them use R and other things like that. But given that this is the case, and you're looking to see, okay, well, you know that y equals 20 when x equals 12, well, you can figure out what the slope is or what the constant of proportionality is by just having values of these other two. Now, these two can vary. This is the constant. So eventually you're going to write an equation. These are still going to be variables. You want to figure out what this constant is. So if y is 20 when x is 12, you want to solve this equation to figure out what m, the constant, is. So you would divide both sides by 12 and simplify it. If you simplify this into lowest terms, you get 5/3. So the equation that describes this direct proportional relationship is y equals 5/3 x, and that's what you're going to use to answer these last two parts of the question. So when you're asked, what is y when x is 9? Well, x is going to be replaced with 9, so y is going to equal 5/3 times 9. And 5/3 times 9 is 15, so y would be 15. Now for this, you could also, there's two ways to handle it. I mean, since it's already gotten an equation like this, and we've already been working on the premise that y is directly proportional to x is also directly proportional to y, and you can set this up and come up with a different constant of variation, but you could just use this same equation, except now you know what y is. So 35 is going to equal 5/3 times x. You want to divide both sides by 5/3, keeping in mind your fraction rules. Dividing by a fraction is the same thing as multiplying by a reciprocal. So when you divide by 5/3, it's the same thing as multiplying by 3/5, so both sides are going to be multiplied by 3/5. And you would get that 21 equals x, so x is equal to 21. And so that is the end of this problem, and that is the end of this video. If you have any additional questions, please make sure to bring them up during class.